Hello, everyone. It's Gilbert here. Welcome once again to Red Dragon Model Works. So today, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be laying down her basic skin tones. Now, for that, I normally use I'll put either a green or a terracotta, something with a little red down. So what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to lay down on her skin is this. This is Badger Stynylrez. So I'm going to lay down a little bit of this over her entire body. And then I'm going to use some Badger Stynylrez light flesh. And I'll put a drop or two of the pink, the dull pink in there, just to add a little flavor to it. But I wanted to show you guys how she came out yesterday, I think it was yesterday. I was showing you guys how I filled in the seams. Now, if you look, you can see like right here, there was I'll show you real quick. Right in here, there was a seam that was visible. So you see now that magic sculpt has dried up. Hey, Jeff, you see there's no seam there. It's gone. There was also a seam here that was evident right here where her bottom meets her flesh. So that's all filled in. And then down in here, there was a seam line. So that's all filled in. There was a little bit here on her strap, but I put a little bit on there, fixed it. So she's all primed. She was primed in SEM high build automotive primer. That's what I use on for the most part on most of them. Now there are times where I'll use Badger Stynylrez. That's my go-to primer. But for a 3D print, I like to use a high build primer because once you buff her down and you clean her up, the piece up, every now and then you'll see the little. Sometimes, like on the high points, like here, you'll see a little bit of the witness marks where the printer is printing it around there. So once you sand her down, you buff her down real good, and you smooth that all out. You put a high bulk primer on there; it's nice and smooth. And here you go. Hey, Hugh, how you doing? So as you see here, it's all smooth. The cape, I had to do a little sanding there. That's no problem. I can just, with some Stynylrez, when I go in there, that'll be covered up. The same thing here. Those right down here, if you remember in the last video I did, there was 2 holes here, or 3 holes here, 2 here, 2 here. Those are the same as these right here. That's so when the printer prints them up, if you're done right, you get the holes in there. Those are drainage holes. So when you clean them, all that resin that's inside here drains out, cleans out real good. So I filled those in. So we're not going to be touching this today. So this I'm going to, let me move it out of the way here. I'm going to move this out of the way for now. Sit this over to the side. We're going to concentrate on her head and her face and her body. Here, the other day, part 1, you saw me filling in the seam that was right up underneath. She's got that band, that gold band that goes across her head here. Now this piece, when you buy it, it's I think it's 3 pieces or 4. You got the head piece, this piece here, the hair, the 2 pieces that go in there, and the head. So if you don't, sand it down right, nice and easy, and then you fit them because it fits beautifully. There'll be a little bit of a seam right in here. I filled that in. And then right up here where the hair meets the band, there's a seam that goes all the way around. So I filled that in, and then I resculpted some of the hair detail in here. So that's pretty done. Oops, sorry about that. It's my phone. So there you go. There's her head. So we're gonna start right here with her face. We're going to get that done. So for that, I'm going to use Badger Patriot 105. I'm at about 30 psi. And I'm going to lay down, the first color I'll lay down is this right here, the Badger Stynylrez terracotta. You know, for a flesh tone, you don't want to go directly onto a gray or onto a black. You want to have something underneath, so when you lay your flesh tones down there, it looks pretty good. Hey, Jerry. So what I use, I'll either use a green or this. I'm going to use this because I want her to have more of an olive skin. So when I go to lay down her colors, I have 3 here. And I don't know which one I'm going to use yet. I thought I had another one here. I have an olive skin, but I don't know if I'm going to use the olive skin. I have a tan flesh and a pale flesh. So I'll lay down the tan flesh first, and then on the highlights, I'll lay down a little bit of the tan flesh. And then once all that's done, I'll go in there with some blues, a little bit of purple, a little bit of red. And that'll all be done with inks. I'm sorry, with oils, because that's what I use. You don't have to use it. Hey, how you doing? It says Facebook user. I go like, oh, geez, let's see who just said hello. Give me a second here. Let me look on the Facebook. I don't have Facebook opened. That's Steve. Steve-O. All right, so here we go. I'm going to use, like I said, I'm going to get this out of the way. Before I got to be careful. These are pretty delicate. There's a little stem that's holding it here. So I need to make sure that when I'm not handling her, I've got a little piece of a kebab stick in there. There's a little hole on there. She's sitting on that. I want to keep this upright so I don't lay it down and it don't break. So when I get ready to paint that, then I'll go ahead and do that. So like I said, some Stynylrez terracotta. That's going to be my first base that I lay down. Let me get my glasses on. Move this stuff out of the way. Get my phone out of the way. I got a little paper towel here. Make sure there's no crud on the end of the bottle. And I just put a little bit in there. I don't put a lot in there. Come over here. Check my stream. Good. Now I'm going to do her face first. And for that, when I first start to lay it down, I come in this way. So make sure I got my stream going. Get that bridge of that nose. Underneath her neck there. The cheekbone. Now you notice I'm not blowing up the black. I just want to lay this down. And this is the base that everything's going to lay on top of. Some parts are I put it on some parts I put it more and some parts less. So there's her face. Let me add a little bit more over here. As you notice, you can still see some of that black through there. I just dusted it on there, and I want that because that's where my shadow is going to be. So I'm going to take her, set her back on this little display mini clamp. That way I don't bump this. Now here's the fun part because it's a big canvas. So I'm going to start on her chest here. Let me see if I can get the light in there. I know it's with the black, it's starting to fade out a little bit. So I'll come in and very gently start laying that down. I'm being very careful. I don't want to oversaturate it. I don't want to lose that highlight I got. Over here, come down the arm. I'll refine that in a little bit. I'm just adding again, this is just my my base tone for all the other colors that are going to follow. I may not even use the other Stynylrez. I might go straight to the Pro Acro. We'll see. It's a little humid today. I try to keep, I've got a dehumidifier down here, so I try to keep the humidity down there at about 60, 55%, 60%, no higher than that. But sometimes it just doesn't work. Again, I want to make sure that I keep some of those shadows. Add a little bit more in here. Hey, Plastic Monkey, how you doing, buddy? The high spots is the spots that I'm adding more of this terracotta, and then in the recesses, I try to leave the shadow in there. And again, this is just the base tone for everything that's going to go on top of it. I'm at about, as I said, 30 PSI. So you go back up here to her breast, highlight that a little bit more, come in here. Just like that. Make sure that I cover everything I want with it. I go heavier in some spots, lighter than others. That shoulder, I'll come in and add a little bit more there. Come over here, a little bit more on that shoulder. Make sure I feather it out so I don't have a big blob of paint there. Right here. Now, I'll get a cheek there. The other one, careful not to, I want to keep that shadow. The same here. Where her hip is, I want to make sure I don't eliminate that shadow here, right there. Yeah, it's starting to stick now. So let me clean off my needle here. There we go. Go back here. Start my stream. And here we go. Come down her leg. High point. Shadow. High point. The calf is the high point. I'm not flooding the model. I'm just very gently just misting it. And then on some high points, I put a little extra paint on there. Because like I said, all this is the base for everything that's going to go over it. No, Jerry, this is Badger Stynylrez terracotta. I just put it in the bottle like that because I got a big bottle of it, and it's easier for me to pour it out of that little bottle than it is to bring out the big bottle. But I do mix it. I'll mix a little bit of this with the flesh tone, if I'm not using oils. And again, like I said, I might just do that. We'll see. We'll see how this session goes. Because you don't have to use oils, guys. You can do this with acrylics. You got Jerry in here. Jerry's a hell of a painter, and he primarily uses acrylics and pigments and stuff. So everybody has a way to do it. And if you can get the results that you're looking for on the way you do it, hey, God bless you. See, now there it is. That's her basic, the basic flesh tone that I'm looking for. Now you see right here on the knee, because that's a high point. So I want that, when I lay that stuff down, I want it a little brighter. Same thing here. Same thing there. Right around certain spots here. I'll come up with it. And you got to make sure you get it all. Even sometimes, and I've been guilty of this. I'll forget the inside of her hands. And then I got to go in there and do that. And it's a bitch when you got everything painted already. You just realize that you missed a hand. Right here. The other leg. Make sure there's no fuzz bunnies on there. The bottom of her foot, her toes. Back of her ankle. See that? I'm going to come up here on this arm, right there. A little bit on that high point. Right in here. Make sure I get around the neck. So there she is. So let me show you what it's going to look like. She looks like in primer. So this is there. So there she is. She's ready for her skin tones. Oh, let me get this back in here. All right, let me clean my airbrush out. Yeah, this is just Badger Stynylrez terracotta, but I just put it in this little bottle because it's easier to handle. For me, it is. I've got the big bottles of these, so it's easier for me to handle, Jerry. Now, I'm going to clean out my airbrush real quick. Let me set this off to the side here. I got a little messed up brush here. I don't throw them away. I use them to clean my airbrush out. Get that out of there. I'm not going to do a super clean on it. I just want to get most of that terracotta that's in there out. I'll dump it. I got a garbage can off to my right here. Dump that in there. Do another quick flush. Wipe that down. Make sure I got all of this terracotta out. I don't want that bleeding into the skin tone, messing up the color. I'm just cleaning out the airbrush, guys. So, all right, take my little paper towel. Make sure it's cleaned out. I'm not going to pull that needle. Not yet. I'll wait till I'm done. Oh, the feathers. she's got feathers on her headdress and on her thing. So I found this upstairs. I have a bunch of them. So that's what I'm going to try to duplicate, is that color on her feathers. We'll see. Stan Conley, he sent me some pictures of her actual, the actual outfit that she wore. All righty. Now, should I or shouldn't I? You know, I don't know if I want to add that. Well, we'll see. Let's see. I'm gonna try without it. I'm gonna shoot it without it. I can always. So, nah, let me do it. I say I'm not gonna do it, and then I turn around and do it. So, okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of it. This is light flesh from Badger. Make sure shake the snot out of it. See, it's just a regular flesh tone. I'll take a little bit of this pink. Same thing, Badger Stynylrez, dull pink. Make sure there's nothing on the top, so it'll get inside the airbrush. And I'm going to mix just a little bit in there, see? Not a lot, just a little bit. See? Gave me a nice little rosy look to it. Now, I don't usually thin this, but I'm not using this as a primer right now. This my friend Steve Sutton got it for him, gave them to me. I put some thinner in them. This is the Vallejo thinner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That wouldn't. Just squirt some thinner in there. Guys, if you ask me what the ratio is, I have no idea. I just shot it in there. So I'll mix that up. I got a little flow aid here. I'm going to put a drop. Boop. 2 drops. Boop. That's it. That's all you need. This stuff, you put too much fluid in there, your paint's not going to adhere real good. Okay. I'm going to shoot this. Through my Sotar. Now, what I always do, guys, before I pick up, if I haven't used an airbrush in a couple of days or whatever, it's a good habit to, it's clean because you cleaned it. But I always check it, make sure there's nothing inside the bowl. I'll put a little water in there, just plain water, and just check the stream. It's good because it gives me my finger the muscle memory. All right. Now this stuff is just going to be used as a highlight or base, and then I'll go in with the Pro Acro. I'm just getting all the water out of here. Mix that up. Put a little bit in there. Check my stream. Looks good. Now I'm going to lower my PSI. I'm down to about 20 now. Now I'm going to take old Selma here. And again, like I said, I always go this way first. I'm in at an angle. Get that bridge of that nose. Now that gives me an idea of where I want to go with it. Now what I'm going to do, I've got a valve here, Mac valve. I'm going to choke that down just a little bit. Right now, I'm not worried about overspray. There's the base of her face. It's not going to be that color. Once I start laying in the tan flesh and the pale pink, it'll bring her to life. So there's that. Now here comes the fun part. Because she's got a lot of skin tone, guys. There's a lot of skin to paint on this. Make sure there's nothing on the edge of that. And then I'll just come in and start layering in where I want that color. If you notice, I'm trying not to jump around all over the place with it, because if you do that, then you lose your place on how everything's supposed to look. Stick to one spot, at least when doing these things. See, that's going to lay the base for all the rest of it that comes on there. Hey, maestro, ¿cómo estás? All right, let's come over here again. I'm going to choke down on this a little bit. Get those high points. Come down around here. Oh, excuse me. Get that hand at the tips of her fingers. Excuse me, I'm still getting over this crud that my grandson brought home from school. That high part right there. I gotta get behind this arm. Like so. Now you can see how it's starting to come together. I got the shadows in there. Not really, maestro. I'm a painter, man. I don't want to have to deal with them. I've thought of it. I've had people, ask me this over and over. Now it's not that I appreciate what these guys do with their own prints. I personally, I don't want to have to babysit a printer. So it's not that I wouldn't want to. It's not that I don't know how. It's just I don't want to. Now you notice I'm leaving some detail there. What needle size and pressure are you using? Jeff, I'm using a Badger Stynylrez. It's got I believe it's a 1.5 needle in it. So the black, it's the finest needle they have. Right now I'm at 20 PSI, and I use my MAC valve here to choke down on the stream that's coming out. I still got 20 PSI coming out, but I'm choking it down with this so I don't have a full blast of paint that comes out a full stream. Okay, I'll come back here. Let me get her back. You got that muscle that's right here. So I want to highlight that muscle. And then right here, I want to leave a little bit more. You see what I did there? It's darker there. There's paint there, but it's darker here, it's lighter here. And the same thing with a butt cheek. We'll come in and just on the high point of her cheek. And then I'll come in and just lightly mist where the shadow is there. But the cheek, just like that. See that? I'll come in this way. And I'm making sure that dark spot, I'm layering a little bit of paint there. You're welcome, Jeff. I'm layering a little paint in there, but I'm not blowing up that shadow. I want that shadow there. And I'll come back over here. Same thing for that part of her cheek. Now, what makes this a little bit harder, not difficult, but harder to paint is her arms. The way it was sent to me like this here. This is a commission piece. So, and the arms fit in there beautifully. I'm going to do another one for my daughter. It'll be a personal one. I won't put the arms on until after I paint the body. Then I'll stick the arms on. It'll be easier for me to get in there. But it's not a bad. I mean, it's workable. You can do it. You just got to be very careful how you do it. Okay, we're running out of paint. Add a little bit more in there. Put the cap on because I don't want to spill it. And here we go. So now I'm going to start blending it all down the leg. This is a high point, so I want that a little brighter, but you can still see that nice terracotta underneath blending with it. It's giving it that almost sun-kissed look. And here's the shadow, so I don't want to blow that up. There's the kneecap. You see now why I left that? It's not going to be that bright, guys. Once I start layering in the regular skin tones, it's not going to look that bright. But I always do it this way because it shows me where my high points are. What I want bright, what I don't want bright. And I'm just very carefully laying it down. I'm not going heavy. Just misting it a little bit. Down by her toes here. I'll come up to the arch of her foot. Just like so. Turn her around. Make sure there's nothing on the needle. I don't want anything spitting on her. At the back of her thigh. Down her calf. Down her leg. Bottom of her foot. Come her this way. I'll come up a little bit, try to get a little bit in there, just like that. Blend that in a little bit. You notice I'm just working on one leg right now. I'm not jumping back and forth. See, there was a little spit there. Come up that leg. Come around. There's one leg. Yep, right back here. That little bone area, I want to highlight that right there. That little bone area. All right, let's go to the next leg. Again, I don't want to blow up that shadow there under where the lobe of her cheek meets her leg. Come down right here. There's a high point there, bottom of her foot. Spin it around. Get her arch, her toes, come up. Just like so. I'll blend this in a little bit more. Like that. Come over this way. I'm following the contours of her body. So let's see how much paint I got left in here. I got a lot of paint left in there. Come up that leg. Back of her leg. Keep turning her just to make sure I didn't miss any spot. I want this a little brighter right there. Right there. And there it is. That's that I'm going to hit this with a blow dryer. Let me clean my airbrush. Now she's ready for her skin tones. Let me show you with her head on. Gives you a better idea of what you're looking at. Now you got to remember these lights are pretty bright, guys. So, but there she is. You see the shadows? I left all the shadows in there. And that'll guide me when I'm laying down the rest of the paint. So there's her body. Get this in here. I'll clean this airbrush out. But yeah, there she is. Clean that off. Let me get rid of what's in this airbrush. So we're done with this. We're done with that color. So I'm just going to clean out my airbrush. Get most of that paint. I'm just going to do a quick flush in there. Make sure I get everything out of there. Because anybody that's used Stynylrez know if you don't get it out of there, it's going to dry and it's going to be black. It's going to be a bitch to get out of there. It's great, great primer. But if you let it sit too long in your airbrush, it's a pain to get out. Do a little back flush. Let me clean that out. So yeah, that's the way I do it. When I start laying down the skin tones, that's when she's gonna come to life. You'll see it in a minute. It's really, really nice. They come to life like that. And you know what? For me, I tell people all the time, I used to build models. I was a model builder. I wasn't really particularly great at it, but I wasn't bad. But once I started doing figures, it's just, I love to watch them come to life, I really do. All right, we got that cleared out. I just want to make sure that I got all that Stynylrez out of my sotar. And then I'll pull the needle and wipe it just to make sure that I got it all out of there. So all I'm doing now is I'm just flushing it through. Just to make sure that there's nothing in the nozzle that'll cause me trouble later on. You can use lacquer thinner. When I'm done I mean, it's been about 2 months since I did a deep cleaning on my airbrushes. So when this figure's done, I'll go ahead and do a really good deep cleaning on them. On this one and the Patriot. So yeah, I'm just running all that out. So I'll go ahead and pull the needle. Make sure I get all that out. Put the needle back in. Run just a little bit of thinner or cleaner through it. Just to make sure I got it all out, which I did. Oh man. The thing about the Sotar, man, it takes forever to empty out. Okay. Now we're gonna go tan flesh. This is from Pro Acro. I love this color. This tan flesh is really nice. But you know, I thin it again with Vallejo. So let me close this, move that off to the side, and because I'm going to use a lot of it, I'll go ahead and mix up a little batch of it. Make sure I shake it really good. It's pretty thick. It's a great paint. There it is there. I became a big fan of this when I first tried it, and I was like, man, I love their flesh colors. Their flesh tones are really nice. Inside here is Vallejo thinner. I don't know how much I just put in there. I just put a bunch in there, and now I'm going to thin it. There it is right there. There's her tan flesh. It's the Flow Aid. Flow Aid's inside this little bottle. One drop. That's all I want in there. I don't want no more. My mixing brush. I got some water right there, so in case you're wondering, there's my mixing brush. Make sure I mix that real good. Drop that back in there. Usually when I do the face, I only put a little bit. I'll check my flow. Let's go and get her face now. All right. I got to be careful not to break these off. I'll turn that upside down. I'm going to choke that down a little bit. Okay. Choked it down too much. I'm not. There we go. Get up underneath her neck there. Oh, excuse me. It's her face. Put that back here. more of this in here. Ah, it's plugged up on me, damn it. All right. I'm going to go to a bigger airbrush. Let me clean this out real fast. I'll go to the page here 105. Let me clean that up. I didn't want this too damn thin. I thought I had it thin enough. But apparently, my Sotar is rebelling against me right now. But that's okay. That's okay. I can do this with the other one. So let me clean out my Sotar because it's, when I ran that Stynylrez through it, I don't think I got it all out. There it is. But the body I can do with a bigger needle. I just didn't want to do a bigger needle with the face. But, all right. All right, let me put this here. Grab this. All right, eat shit. Now I got a bigger airbrush. All right, and as I did before, I'm going to start on the breasts. Come up here. That's too high. Drop that pressure down a little bit. There we go. Check my stream. Get her belly. Come across here. See that? Get that shoulder. Come down to her hand. Man, my compressor's fucking screaming. I'll come across here. The top of her shoulder, right there, her clavicles, the back of her neck. Her back. this arm here. I stuck my hand in there. Get her ass cheek here. The other side. Bring that up. A half moon. And then I just fill in just a little bit so that I don't lose that shadow. Come down her leg. Just like that. Jump to the other leg. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. So I'm just going to go to the knee. Cross here. I'm going to leave that little shadow there, right where that hip, where the gluteus maximus meets the hip. Get the front of her leg here. Fill that in. Come down her leg. I'll turn her this way. Come down her shin bone. Or to her foot. Come back up. And just missed it. Right in that area that I want. There you go. Just like that. What I'm trying to do with the shadows is create muscle mass where you see the muscle. I'll come down the other foot. Down her leg. sure that I get that calf. Make sure I get the ball of her foot. Go back to that cheek. Now what I'm doing is I'm just refining everything now. Where it's too dark. And there she is, guys. Oh. I'll get that leg there. Yeah, see, there's certain parts of her body, especially like here, the calf. You want that a little bit more pronounced. You want her glute a little bit more pronounced. It's got that nice rosiness to it now. The back of her leg. Right here on her back. I want that muscle to pop a little bit. Same thing with her shoulder blade. I'll fill that in just a little bit under her arm there. Make sure I get the insides of her hands. I'm not blowing up all the shadow, but I'm just lightly dusting on it because I still want some of that separation. The bottom of her foot. Back up in here again. Clean that up. Turn her around. Get her belly area again. Too much of a shadow here. I'll dust a little bit on there. Come back here, a little bit more on the cheek. A little bit more on the high point up here. On her hip. On the leg again, the bottom of her foot. I just want to make sure that I didn't miss any spots. And that's basically what you guys see me doing, is just lightly going over some of the darker areas, but trying not to blow up all that. And I'm going to show you. Butt and lips alarm on the smoker going off. Happy Labor Day, Maestro. All right, there she is, guys. There's the skin tone. That's how I lay it down. Just that simple. I did it in, what, an hour? Now, I'm going to let her dry. I'll hit it with a matte coat. And then I'll go in and start refining the color. And we'll do that in another one. I'm going to go have some dinner now. But this is, I just wanted to show you guys, because I did mention that I would show my process. And anybody, I'm more than, hey, Johnny Chop Shop, what's up, brother? So there she is for now. this is not the end of her colors, guys, because once I lay down all the base colors, once I lay down the highlight, I got to let this dry. I'm going to let this sit and dry, and then I'll go in with a little blue in here, a little tiny, a very little bit of green, down in the shadow area, a little blue, a little purple underneath her head, and then you start refining your shadows. Once that's all done, then you got it. But her flesh tone is there. That's her flesh tone. That's it. It's perfect. It's got that sun-kissed look to it from mixing these two, Stynylrez, light flesh and dull pink. I used a base of Badger Stynylrez terracotta. That was the base over the primer. On top of that, I mixed up the light flesh and the dull pink. It was maybe, I just squirted it in there, so I couldn't really tell you how much I used, but I put a few drops, maybe 2 drops of that dull pink in there just to give it that rosiness. That I laid, and then I thinned it with Vallejo, shot it through the Sotar. Then I used, I got a smaller bottle, but I used this, the Tan Flesh from Pro Acro. Guys, I'm telling you, this stuff is great. Great. Beautiful flesh tone. I'll go in after dinner with this. This is the Pale Flesh and just the highlights. Here, let's do it now. The hell with it. The hell with it. Let's do it now. All right. So I've got that done. Let me clear this out so it don't dry in there. I'll mix up a little bit of that. Now, this stuff, you got a thin Pro Acro. It's great paint. Beautiful to brush paint. I love shooting it through an airbrush. Thins very well. I use the Vallejo thinner. That's what's inside here. All right. So we got that done. That's this right here. I'm not going to use that anymore. You know what? Maybe I will. I'll take a little bit of this, shake it up real good. I'm going to add it to this mix. Take a little bit of that, squirt that in there. Close that up. Wipe the top of that so I don't get a little booger up there. I'll go ahead and knock that down. Move her out of the way so I don't. Again, Vallejo thinners in here. I don't know how much paint I put in there, so I'm going to go by eyeball. There's about 6-7 drops in there. I'll mix that up. Now, this I'm only going to use on the high parts. Let me get my glasses back on. I can see what the hell I'm doing. That gives her a little glow. A little bit on her belly, a little bit here. I'll come up here on the tops of her shoulders, around, down a little bit. Right here, her hand. I don't want to use too much of this because too much of this is going to overpower everything I just did. I'm just using this as a highlight to bring out. It's got a real nice rosiness to it. See that? I'll get her out of the light in a minute, guys, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Put a little bit of that right here. I'll bring that down. Like so. You notice I'm trying not to bleed over on the rest of what I've just done. A little bit right on that kneecap. Right here. On that thigh. It's right there like so. Come around to her back. A little bit there. A little bit here. Right here where that muscle is. And hit it with some air. I put too much there, so the back there. Now her butt cheek. I'm going to be very careful how I lay this down there. I don't want to blow up everything I just did. That. Come across here. Just make sure I put a little bit down. A little bit here. A little bit here. On the ball of your foot. Right there. A little bit on that thigh there. I squirted a little bit in there. Let me go back to this thigh. But God darn it. Did I choke that? Yep, I did. Wipe that down. It spit because I had it choked down. I had to open it up again. I forgot to take the... There she is. There she goes. Now I'm going to use a little bit of this. Let me bump this up just a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Just a little bit. Highlight on her chin. Right there. And there. Again, I'm not concerned about the overspray because I got to paint that all by hand anyway. So. So let me see if I can move this a little bit so the light isn't so harsh. You guys can see. There's her skin tone right there. Now, like I said, I'm going to go in with some blues, like in here, you know, some burnt umber, very thin. Come in here, you know, darken it all up. There'll be no black on it. Same thing down in here, down her spine, here, you know. But there's her basic skin tone. Yeah, looks good. I like it. And again, I'm probably most likely going to take a wash, go in there with some oils, just to darken some spots up, brighten some spots up, you know, stuff like that. There, it's not something I'm going to do over the whole skin tone, the whole figure. But when you're working with oils, when you lay the oil down, you blend it, you know. So, but that's it, gentlemen. Everybody that watched, I want to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate, you know, you guys sticking with me while I'm doing this. I'm gonna let her, like I said, I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna let it dry. I'll take her out in the sun. I'll look at it. I'll figure out where I want her shadows, which is fairly easy because I could see them. You know, here, the center of her belly there, where her six pack is, down here by her knees, in between her breasts, the armpit, the pit of her, where her arm meets her, the upper arm, the lower arm, the forearm meets the by the bicep here. Here, the dimples here, down her back there, the creases on her butt cheek, in here, and then down by the calf muscles. And that's where the shadows will go. But yeah, there she is. This is going to sit now. I'm going to let this dry. Let me figure. Oh, here's the base. You know, I got the oils. Now I want to show you guys that if you thin that well enough, look at that. Now I did this last night. You guys, I did it on the live. Look, it's damn near dry. I didn't use any Linquin or Japan dry. None of that. Another day or so, and I'll be able to hit this with a matte coat, and she's ready. All you guys out there, thank you for watching. I always put a link in here. If this was of any help to you, I'll put my buy me a coffee. You don't have to, but it would be greatly appreciated. If you can't do that, right here, if you can't donate to the buy me a coffee, please, by all means, give me a like on this, man. You know, share the video, show your buddies, you know, whatever. Let me know, guys. Comment. Let me know if this is something you guys want to keep seeing. If this is something that interests you, I'll be more than happy to do it, man. If you guys are part of my Red Dragon Model Works or Styrene Syndicate, we have a hangout every Friday night. If this is something you want to learn how to do, we talk about it every night. I'm more than happy to sit with you and show you how to do it. You know, so you guys enjoy the rest of your Labor Day here in the U.S. All you got around the world, have a good one. Thank you for watching. Be good to each other. Be kind to your children. You know, leave the politics out of our hobby. And by all means, leave the drama to the goddamn queens. Build or paint a model, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow when I start laying down the shadows and the oils. Part 4. Thank you. Good evening. Bye-bye.